Hello, true art believers, and welcome to today's live art stream. This is Pierson. I am the number one live art streamer in the world, and you are watching day 233 of 300 days of drawing. Today we're gonna do some heads. Yeah, we're gonna do some heads, and hopefully, actually, we're not even gonna do like heads. We're just gonna do like basic head structure studies to kind of get into the groove of drawing heads because it's been a while since I've drawn heads. So we're going to do some practices, some practicing, practical. We're going to get practical practicing practices. Anyways, let's begin today's drawing studies. So we're just going to keep it real simple today. We're going to start out by let's see here. We're going to use yellow. We're not going to use yellow. We're going to use a good old. There we go. And we're going to start out by just doing some practice head. Not even practice heads. We're going to do circles. We're going to practice some circles here because it's been a while and you want to. Do I have smoothing on? Anyways, you want to kind of get used to doing some circles. So the reason why I'm going to start out with some circles is so I can have better control later on. And believe it or not, drawing circles on a tablet is not the easiest. So I'm going to spend a few minutes drawing circles and see if that allows me to kind of warms me up, you know. And this is something I used to have my students do is just kind of practice doing circles. And you know what? I think they don't I think they didn't like it. They're like, this is boring, you know. And I was saying, it's kind of like doing scales. So I'm going to do a bunch of circles for a few minutes. I think mainly, like, probably, I'm getting close to that. I'm getting close to the point where I stop. So about like another minute of just randomly drawing circles to kind of get warmed up and get myself into the process of basically drawing heads um, or a cranial structure. And this is going to be loosely based off the Loomis method. And I'm going to try to apply it in a manner that I understand. And then hopefully, upon further research and practice, I will be able to apply it more in a technical term. So I think we're getting done here. Okay, just kind of randomly put some circles here. Doesn't matter. And when I had my students do this type of exercise, they would just go, they just like do this, and they thought this was acceptable. I was like, no, no, don't. You really want to kind of do multiple ones on the same area. You just want to kind of keep applying and doing multiple ones, and then eventually you'll get better and better at your circles. And I know that sounds like a silly little thing to do. Yeah, I know it seems like a silly little thing to do, but it is what it is. So in about 20 seconds, we're going to stop. We're going to erase this. We're going to go ahead. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to go and just practice the idea a little bit. And now what we're going to do is we're going to remove this, right? Now, so what you want to do for a Loomis style head is you're just going to practice a circle. And let's just do a quick little, like a simple one. We're going to do a profile one where you again, that's why you practice those circles. And you want to do a profile one. And what you're doing is you're going to make a circle inside here. And essentially what that circle is going to do is when you do it in like a 3/4, you're going to have a kind of like an ellipse, right? it's going to turn into ellipse. But when it's in a profile, what you want to do is you want to draw a circle, something like this. It's going to look like a cell almost, right? And then you want to cut that in half because this is going to be the part where the jawline is formed. So we're just going to practice that. So I'm going to cut this in half here, and we're going to cut this in half right here. Cut it into quarters. So we're essentially making pie, like a little slice of pie, very delicious, whatever pie it is. And it's delicious pie. It's the best pie in the world with some crust, etc. We're not doing that right now. Okay, so we got this line here. And now what we have is we have our head into like quarter sections. Okay, and what this right here, this line is going to signify basically the brow line, right? It's going to signify the brow line. So that's going to be where your eyebrows are at. And then right at the bottom of this circle that you made is going to signify where the bottom of the nose is. So what's going to happen is you're going to start by developing your structures into thirds. Yeah, I was going to say quarters, but it's thirds, right? So you have something like this. This is your forehead. This is the brow line. This is where the bottom of the nose forms, or roughly where it's supposed to be at. And we're going to put another area that's kind of like a third. That is going to be like the hairline for your head. However, that's not really good. That's terrible handwriting. That's supposed to be your hairline, right? And then, so you have one third, 2/3. Oh, not even that. You're doing it in a third. So yeah, and here we go. You're gonna do another third right here, and that's supposed to signify the bottom of the chin. So each of these areas are supposed to be not 1/3 of each, right? So you'd have thirds to create the Loomis head, right? So something like that. Get your jawline, and then you have your neck and so forth. Right? So let's do that again without all this stuff kind of showing stuff, like all this like deep, like random stuff here. So we're going to do it again. Draw your circle here, right? And then you're going to basically you make your little pie shape. And I forgot to mention one other thing regarding the head. As soon as that's why you got to draw your circles often and regularly. Ugh. Ugh, they're getting worse. Anyways, I'm gonna just go slower. That's good enough. The circle that's in here is roughly like, if we were to kind of, it's roughly like 2/3 of the width or the diameter. So if we were to kind of make another circle like right here, it would go almost 2/3 of the way up. So essentially what happens is when you do this circle right here inside, you're gonna subtract this, and you have roughly like 2/3 or something like that along those lines. So I'm gonna draw the circle here, and now we're gonna make those landmarks here, right here. So essentially that's like the brow, like the hairline. This is where the brow line is. That's where you have the eyebrows. And then right here is the nose line. And then you draw your face. And then one second. One other thing is you have this brow line, hairline, hairline, brow line, nose line, and then you have the bottom of the chin, which is equal parts here. So something like that. And you have that, and there's your head structure that you can go from. Right? All right, so now what you want to do is we're going to try to apply that method and do something different. We're going to apply that method in a different way. We're going to apply it with the head at like a 3/4 view. So this time, let's kind of. So now what happens is your head structure, that circle that was on the side of the cranium, it's going to now become like an ellipse shape. It's going to come like an ellipse shape, kind of like this, right? So what was essentially a circle is now an ellipse, and you're going to kind of do the same on the other side, and you're going to cut that area off. You're going to take a saw. It's like you're taking a knife, and you're just taking a knife, and you're just kind of cutting that section off, that little area of head, that circle here off with a knife. This is a beautiful drawing of a knife too. Like it's one of the best drawings of a knife. But anyways, that's what you should be doing. Right? And now you have your circle here, your circular form that has this area lopped off like that. And now what you want to do is you want to cut that into like little fourths, like a pie again, right? You're going to cut this into fourths. So you're going to make this, you're going to find the center line, and then you're going to find the center line here, right? So it's the center line right here. So now you have essentially those, you have that pie formation being made again on the side, just like on the side profile view, right? So now that this area is essentially the brow line, and you're going to cut, and this top area is going to be like the hairline on that sphere shape, and this bottom area is essentially the kind of like the nose. So you're going to try to get equal parts again. So equal parts, something like that, should give you the structure for your head. Right? So let's do it again. A little bit differently though. We're going to try to tighten it up. You cut this off here. Another thing that's really a really good tool to learn is when you start practicing your like spheres or circles, you want to try practicing a little technique where you can wrap a cross contour around your shape, essentially to kind of give it three-dimensional form without actually adding value. And that's, I find that to be a very nice tool uh, when you want to create form on your shapes here. Also, it's also really good to make pokeballs if you want to make a pokeball, I guess. I'm trying to draw a pokeball. A pokeball. Uh, you know, there you go. You got a pokeball. If you have Pokemon, you can catch Pokemon with your cross contour. Okay, so now we're gonna do this again. Kind of cut this area right here, cut this area right here, and then what I'm doing now is I'm gonna make this a little bit more rounded to signify like this is like the brow line, this is the nose line. Although this feels a little bit small. So we're going to extend the nose line a little bit and raise that brow line up. There you go. Now let's try doing this, see what happens. And now what you can do is you can kind of get a little bit more elaborate, right? Maybe you want to start by adding your nose features. Very simple. Not even getting in depth here. We're just kind of making them a little bit more. It's terrible right there. Another rule of thumb is like the ears. If you're going to draw ears, the ears are, like the top of the eyebrow or something like that, the top of the nose and the bottom of the nose. They kind of typically draw like that. I'm being very like robotic. I'm making them look really bad. All right, move on and do something else. So I'm going to do another profile again, just to kind of practice it. And I'm going to simplify it. I'm going to skip a few steps, and I'm going to start out by having the front face here before I do anything else. And we're going to zig this, have this section cut off into quarters like the pie sections again. So the ears are the same height as the brow and the nose, the bottom of the nose, typically. And then this jaw, bottom of this nose, right here, is where the chin kind of comes into place, like that. It's been a while since I've drawn like faces. I'm gonna have to start using references. Because these are not that good. Man, they're terrible. I'm very rusty. It's going to take me a while to get used to this. Let's do a few more. Maybe I'll practice something else a little bit different. Let's just play around a little bit. I'm gonna have to do a little bit more, some more studies of this and kind of get some more practice. I'm a little rusty, but let's just do something a little bit different. Let's play and make let's see if I can make a skull again. Just for fun. Let's draw a skull. I want to draw a skull. It's not bad. I have done a lot of skulls though, so I have a little bit of understanding of how to structure them, but I haven't done them in a while. And I haven't done them digitally. So digital media is very, it's one of my weak points. It's one of my weakest skills that I have. Um, so there you have it. We're gonna mess around with drawing the skull just for fun. People like skulls, and it's Halloween or coming. Halloween's coming up, so I might as well just draw a skull, right? So I'm exaggerating those that cheekbone, that cheek like is it a zygomatic bone? I don't know what the actual the name of it. I'm exaggerating it. I'm gonna push out that mandible area a little bit more. Oh yeah, let's give this skull some teeth. Kind of make some general teeth right here. Oh, look at his eyeballs. All right, there's this area in the bottom here. I always forget what that looks like. It's kind of like the area where the spine kind of sets in. This is all very new to me. Using this like brush that kind of has a semi-transparency on it. It's um it's very foreign to me, and I tend to press a little too hard with it when I'm working, when I'm using it. So it's always I can't seem to get the right amount of pressure for it when I'm playing around. And I'm just doing this to kind of have fun because I have 5 minutes to kill. And I don't really. I'm not. These are not that good. I'm gonna have to playing around with it a little bit more. And come up with better solutions. But this idea is sound, where you are cutting your face into quarters or thirds, and then that's supposed to kind of define the structure later on. It also helped to have some references to work from. And again, as I've been stating with this whole process, it's been so long since I've drawn from life, since I've drawn the figure. Um, it's just you always it's almost like you're starting over for real. Um, I know people say, "Oh, it's like you just once you learn it, you never forget it." Like I think that's not very true. Like you can kind of lose certain things, and it takes a little while to kind of acquire it back. So something like this, kind of what if I just kind of just playing around here. Yeah, man, this is not that good. This is terrible. So I'm playing around with adding white on top of the layer, and I don't know if I like it. I think I like just adding dark tones first. You know, I think I'll just play around with adding dark tones for a few minutes. Call it a day. I think I'm a little bit more adept at doing that than kind of mixing white and black tones together. At least I think of that right now, and then all of a sudden I just totally bomb it. Yeah, I kind of am right now. No joke. Whatever. We'll do something else. We don't even have a minute left. So let's do one more study of the head here, just for fun. Then maybe we'll do a profile like right here. So this is where the nose is supposed to happen, the brow, the eyes right here. Although they kind of they have to go inward. They have to inset, and I'm not putting that inset. This is I don't know where that's at. This is the ear. All right. So that's about it for the day. I'm going to put a little bit more detail in this, or a little bit more. It's going to express these forms a little bit more solidly as a profile of a face. So you have your nose here. I want to make the nose as like an angular shape. The brow. Of course, the brow is not like that. draw like the muzzle of the face a little bit. Not like that, but gonna add like right there. And then the ear. All right, so that's about it for the day. And we did a few studies, nothing too special, just kind of going over some of the process of drawing, of how to draw like the head or structure your head a little bit more effectively. Again, it's just the beginning of this learning process, and as soon as I get a little bit more acquainted with this drawing pen or drawing like this on here and doing it quicker, typically I tend to draw a lot slower, and never really good at sketching on digital media. So pretty soon that's going to change after doing many more of these. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed today's live art stream. Let's type in. I got to do some right here. Put in P21. What day is it? Day 233 out of 300. Now, I hope you enjoyed today's live art stream. And if that's something you like to, if you something you enjoyed, please feel free to subscribe to the YouTube channel. And thank you so much for watching. This is Pierson. I am the #1 live art streamer in the world. Not the best art streamer, the number one. There's difference. All righty then. I hope you enjoyed today's live art stream. I got to get going. Cheers.